In the world of college football, few things generate as much drama as an Alabama quarterback under pressure. But this year, the pressure didn't just come from the program's glorious history. It came from a specific voice, the voice of the man who moves the needle in the SEC, Paul Finebaum. Finebaum, the critic, the prophet, the radio master who turns opinions into headlines. We are about to reveal the before and after, the transformation of a skeptic into a believer. Before Ty Simpson stepped onto the field this season, the conversation was one thing. He was a former five-star recruit, yes. He had raw talent, yes. But was he the legitimate one? Did he have the mentality, the courage, the leadership capacity to guide Alabama back to the top of college football, especially during a coaching transition? Before, I don't know if he's all that. The critics, and Finebaum among them, weren't attacking Ty Simpson. They were asking the most brutal question in the sport. Is he capable of leading Alabama to a national championship? That was the doubt, the subtle poison eroding the fans' confidence. But then the turnaround happened. In just a few weeks, the conversation flipped upside down. The questions vanished, the criticisms evaporated. And the loudest voices, the most skeptical voices, started sounding different, bizarrely different. After, wow, how he plays. What happened between the I don't know and the wow? How did Ty Simpson, the patient and quiet QB, manage to silence the critics and force figures like Paul Finebaum to swallow their doubts and rewrite their own scripts in a way that, frankly, is quite embarrassing? The treasure chest of controversy is about to be opened, and what we will find is a story of patience, perseverance, and above all, the proof that talent, when tested, always prevails. Prepare to see how the SEC's biggest skeptic became Ty Simpson's biggest evangelist. To understand the intensity of the skepticism, we need to go back in time and delve into Ty Simpson's history. Ty was not just any player. He left high school with the highest prestige, a five-star recruit, ranked among the best quarterbacks in the country. His destiny was clear. He would be the next great Alabama QB, the direct heir to the Nick Saban Dynasty. But the Alabama machine operates differently. He arrived and he waited. In modern college football, patience is considered a sign of weakness. The unwritten rule is, if you're good, you play. If you don't play, you transfer. It's the transfer portal. It's the now or never. And Ty Simpson stayed. He remained on the roster during the Jalen Milroe era. He stayed when the program went through one of the most seismic coaching transitions of the 21st century, following Nick Saban's retirement and Kalen DeBoer's arrival. For many, Simpson's loyalty and patience were not virtues, they were evidence. For some, the fact that Simpson never left was a sign of weakness. If he was truly good enough to start for a Power 4 team, why wouldn't he have transferred to a school where he could play sooner? The critics' argument was devastating in its simplicity. If Ty Simpson was truly the five-star talent recruiting agencies claimed, he would have beaten Jalen Milroe last season. Or, if he was truly good, he would have found a faster route to starting elsewhere instead of waiting 3 years in Tuscaloosa. The skepticism wasn't about talent, but about mentality and command. Critics doubted he had the killer instinct necessary to be the field general Kalen DeBoer needed to keep Alabama on top. Here, the voice of Paul Finebaum enters. In the preseason, Finebaum weighed in heavily, openly expressing the fear that, despite all the talent, the team might not have the legitimate quarterback to win the national championship. It was the perfect scenario for the cover. The subtle doubt, the distrust of the man who has seen all the great SEC quarterbacks. The before was etched in stone. The great promise was under the shadow of the great doubt. Ty Simpson was a walking question mark. And then came week 1, the high-profile showdown against Florida State. Simpson's big chance to shut everyone up once and for all. And he failed. The offensive line and star receiver Ryan Williams had their issues, but the end result was cruel, a 31-17 loss. Alabama lost, and the questioners returned in full force. Ty Simpson's haters were, as the analysis itself puts it, in full activity. Finebaum's skepticism seemed justified. The path was, in fact, very narrow. The patient QB didn't look like the dominant QB. The pressure was unbearable. In many programs, a loss like that in Week 1 would have been the end. The coach would make a quarterback change, the player would be demoralized, and the haters would win the narrative. But Ty Simpson, the patient one, turned the game around. The shift started subtly, but soon became undeniable. What followed was a sequence of 4 consecutive victories. What you see is a quarterback who, even through failures, trusts the process and his team. He did not yield to the pressure. From that loss onward, Simpson's numbers began to speak louder than any critic. Look at the statistical mirror of the after. Since the FSU game, he's completing 76.5% of his passes. He's accounted for 13 total touchdowns. All of this with only 1 interception. He wasn't just playing well, he was hitting all the right buttons of Kalen DeBoer's new offensive attack, guiding the Crimson Tide in a monumental recovery. What the critics saw as weakness, the patience and permanence in the program, suddenly revealed itself as the greatest strength of Ty Simpson: maturity and dedication to the system. The turnaround wasn't just about winning, it was about dominating the competition. When you consider the high level of opponents Alabama faced in the following weeks, the bottom line is crystal clear. Heading into Week 7, the silence from the critics was deafening. Why? Because he had ascended to the top. Simpson surpassed star Diego Pavia. He surpassed Julian Sayin. He left behind Trinidad Chambliss, Haynes King, and all the other talked-about names. The former 5-star recruit, the kid who waited on the bench for 3 years, the QB who suffered criticism after Week 1 loss. Ty Simpson of Alabama took the lead, becoming the #1 QB in the CBS Sports Quarterback Power Ranking. Patience became the foundation of his greatness. His stay at Alabama proved he wasn't looking for the easy way out, but the right way. With the fact established, the most entertaining and bizarre part of Ty Simpson's story came to light: the critics' strange reformation. What happens when you're at the epicenter of the debate, publicly doubting a player, and that player proves, undeniably and statistically, that you were wrong? You do what Paul Finebaum does best. You surrender to the drama and completely switch sides. The voices whispering about Simpson's inability to be a championship QB suddenly became the loudest to celebrate his success. The before was, is he capable? Yes, but can he lead Alabama to a national championship? The new discourse, echoing the words Finebaum is famous for using in dramatic turnarounds, became, I'm big enough man to admit Ty Simpson is legitimate. They are contenders. It's a turnaround worthy of a script. It's not just a change of mind, it's a public confession that the initial skepticism was unfounded or premature. What does this prove? The end of transfer myopia. It proves that patience, though rare, is still a valid route to greatness. Simpson didn't need a fresh start at another university. He just needed his chance in the place he was destined to play. Mentality under pressure. It proves that the performance in Week 1 was a hiccup, not a diagnosis. His ability to recover and throw 13 TDs with only 1 interception, especially under the glare of the Alabama spotlight, demonstrates the mentality of a champion. The critics' redemption, and of course it proves that even the most stubborn critics, like Finebaum, must bow to the facts when they are backed by magical performances and the top of the national rankings. The skeptic becomes the evangelist, bizarrely but inevitably. Ty Simpson didn't just win games, he won the narrative. He didn't transfer, he didn't shrink, he simply played spectacularly until the truth overshadowed the doubt. Ty Simpson's journey is a treasure trove of lessons. It's proof that in today's college sports world, obsessed with instant results, perseverance is still a superpower. The before was the doubt, the 5-star kid who couldn't win the internal competition and therefore must be weak. The after is the reality, the the hottest quarterback in college football, who went from questioned to #1 in the CBS Sports Power Ranking in a matter of weeks. Where there was once a question mark, there is now an exclamation point. Alabama, with Ty Simpson at the helm, prepares for a decisive road clash against #14 Missouri. The game will be a test, but no longer a test of capability, but a test of dominance. The debate about Ty Simpson's legitimacy is over. The debate about whether he can be the leader Alabama needs is also finished. He didn't just prove he was capable of starting, he proved to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And now, we want to hear your opinion. Do you think Ty Simpson already has the talent and mentality to lead Alabama to a national championship? Were the critics of the before right to doubt, or was Simpson's patience the secret ingredient to this performance explosion? Leave your comment below.